Happy New Year. It's that time of year again. It's time to hang up that new calendar and to start focusing on your New Year's resolutions. I don't know about you, but I love to hear the different ways that people go about approaching their New Year's resolutions. So today I thought I'd share how I ditched New Year's resolutions a couple of years ago and I switched to quarterly habit goals. Hi, I'm Allison Egidi, a pediatric sleep and wellness coach and a mom of two. I love to help parents find solutions. This is How Long Till Bedtime. If you're anything like me, you love the start of a new year. I know I love the idea of a fresh start. And as a goal oriented person, I always love to think about New Year's resolutions. But I had kind of become one of those people who might crush that new diet or workout in January, but then fall back into my old ways come February. So a few years ago, I changed my approach. I decided to choose a few habits to work on, and I would just focus on them for a quarter at a time. I have found that it's much easier to stay motivated for a quarter instead of a full year. Now, I don't just get one fresh start each year, I get four. So I started this in 2020. And by changing my approach, I was able to consistently work out 3 to 5 times a week. I was going on a daily walk outside 5 times a week because I really like to get natural light exposure. I started drinking 64 ounces of water each day. And I added in always doing a 10-minute stretch after every workout. I've talked about this on Instagram many, many times, but this has been a game changer for my fitness journey. I hit 100 stretches on Peloton before I hit any other levels at 100. Anyway, all of these habits I just mentioned have really stuck with me, not just in 2020, but throughout 2021. So I was going into 2021 thinking, oh, I've got this. Just hitting these quarterly habits is the way to go. So I decided to up the ante and pick some more challenging areas for myself in 2021. So today I'm going to share how I did with those and the tweaks I plan to make going into 2022. So the habits I focused on in 2021 were making my bed every day. Yes, it's embarrassing to admit that I have not always made my bed every day, but it's true. So I was often just hopping out of bed and starting my day, and I literally often do not go back into my bedroom until it's time for me to go to bed again. So once I got up and got going, I just didn't really think about it. But I do really agree with the experts out there that say making your bed allows you to accomplish something first thing in the morning and get that sense of accomplishment. And it kind of sets the stage for the rest of the day. And it is really nice to come back into my bedroom at the end of the day and see a nicely made bed. It's really welcoming. So that was one of the habits I focused on in the first quarter and continue to focus on every quarter. Another habit that I wanted to start, this is a big one, you guys, washing a load of laundry every single day. So, for as long as I've had kids, which is almost 9 years now, I've done laundry on Sundays. And I hate laundry. I mean, I hate. I just loathe doing laundry. Mainly, I loathe folding and putting away laundry. So Sunday nights were not relaxing for me because I was constantly folding laundry and then my kids would already be in bed. So then I couldn't put all the laundry away. So then it would flow into Monday. Or if it got done too late, I was not always folding it. And sometimes it would just be in the basket clean. And that was not welcoming to find on Monday morning. So I was complaining about laundry, and my best friend had told me on several occasions that doing laundry every day would solve my problem. I was very resistant to this idea because I hate laundry, so why would I want to do it daily? But she's often right, so I decided to give that a try in 2021. The other thing that I had started to do in 2020, but I would say didn't really stick, was meditation. So I really started to dabble in meditation in 2020. I don't find it super easy, or I should say, it doesn't come naturally to me. I have a very busy brain. And it wasn't something that I found myself ever looking forward to, even though I totally bought into the benefits of meditation. So in 2021, I decided to not just dabble in it, but to commit to meditating 3 times a week. And lastly, two habits that I wanted to be more consistent about were related to my sleep and things that I know help me sleep. So I decided to stop watching TV in bed and to switch to reading before going to bed. I also committed to going to bed between 9:30 and 10 p.m., which is my ideal bedtime window. I've talked about that on here before, but for me, if I fall asleep between 9:30 and 10, I am definitely going to get the best sleep. And I almost forgot, another new habit that I was going to focus on was to not go on social media at all on Sundays and to just take Sundays as my break from social media, whether it be for work purposes or just scrolling aimlessly through social media to catch up on all the things that my friends are up to. So that was another habit that I had picked up. I think I was trying to focus on that. It was in quarter 2 that I added that to my habit goals. So, how did I do? All right. Well, as it relates to making my bed, I can't say that at this moment, wrapping up the year, that I make it every single day. But I can say that I've made my bed more in 2021 than I have in years. And I find that I haven't pinpointed exactly why this happens, but I think I'm onto it. But I find that I'll make it every day for a while, and then suddenly I'll skip making it for an entire week. And when I was thinking about recently why that was, I think that I was skipping the making the bed process when I wasn't waking up before my kids. So, something I did in 2020 that I didn't do as much of in 2021 was setting an alarm and getting up intentionally before my kids every morning. I was a little more lax on that in 2021. And so when my kids would wake me up to start the day, I found that I was jumping out of bed and right into action with them. And so I wasn't always making my bed on those days. But what I can say with total confidence is that I like having my bed made. It kind of makes me feel like an adult. So I'm going to keep working on this one because now that I think I've pinpointed when it wasn't happening, I think I can tweak that as I think about 2022. Okay, the laundry. I got a lot of feedback. I think I talked about my laundry habit change on Instagram early on in 2021, and I got a bazillion DMs about either people saying, yes, 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 do it, or you are absolutely nuts. Laundry is the worst. Don't do it. So you all had a lot of strong opinions on laundry. And I did do my laundry daily for most of the first quarter. And then somewhere in quarter 2, 3, 4, I kind of ended up settling into about 3 times per week. And here's what I'll say about this now that I'm reflecting on it. I do think it's easier if laundry is done daily. So sometimes when I do the laundry just 3 times per week, I'm still tempted to leave the laundry in the basket unfolded for a bit rather than folding it immediately. So if it's done drying before I go to bed, for example, but I'm coming upstairs to get into bed, it's like, oh gosh, I have to fold that whole basket of laundry. And so sometimes I'm tempted to leave it till the next morning, which, as I already said, I hate to find unfolded laundry in the morning. It's not a great way to start my day. So when I do it less often, I'm more tempted to do that. Whereas when you do the laundry every week, it is super easy to literally just take it right out of that dryer, fold it, put it on top of the dryer, and then move it to the kids' rooms in the morning or wherever it needs to go because there's so few pieces. So I didn't stick with doing it nightly because a lot of times the reason I wasn't doing it nightly is I would actually forget to put it in. So I think I have a plan to get back to this on 2020 in 2022 as well. So more on that in a minute. So here's one where I really did do well, you guys. I do now meditate 3 times per week, typically more than that. I often meditate before bed. So it definitely helps my sleep. I track my sleep very closely. And so I know about my recovery levels and my variable heart rate. My variable heart rate is much better when I meditate. And so I've done a lot of meditation around bedtime. In fact, I do a lot of meditation rather than reading, which I'll touch on that as well. Um, but I did do really well with this new habit. However, there were times, not as often, not nearly as often, not even weekly, but there were times, probably a couple times a month, where I would meditate in the morning or during the day. And I found it to be surprisingly helpful and effective. Not surprisingly because I know everyone preaches about this, but just for me because meditation doesn't come easily to me and I often would feel like it's not working. And I started to really feel like it was very effective when I would meditate in the morning or during the day. I found myself being more relaxed. I found myself being more creative. I got some great ideas when I was meditating. I had a streak one week where I was just in the flow of getting great ideas while I was meditating. So I wish I had prioritized daytime meditation more. So this habit stuck, but there's room for improvement here, I think. And now on to my bedtime habits. So I did so much better with going to bed by 10 p.m. I actually did so well that now I crave going to bed in the 9 p.m. hour. In fact, as I'm recording this, I'm looking at the clock and it's 9:28. And as I was about to hit record, I was thinking, oh my gosh, I need to hurry up and get this recorded so I can go to bed. So that I've been pretty effective. Not always, but I'm proud of myself with how committed I've been to that. And it shows. I sleep better. I feel better when I do that. And a big change I made was that I decided to take the TV out of the bedroom altogether because for starting in college, I started watching TV when I would fall asleep, and it's very tempting to me. And so that's one of those things like, why do I even need to fight this urge when I could just get rid of the TV? My husband was not thrilled about this idea, but he has adjusted. So I was able to get rid of that habit. I didn't do it all the time, but of falling asleep watching TV because I no longer have a TV in my bedroom. What I got into, though, was to meditate before going to bed. So then I did not stick with my habit that I wanted to make of reading before bed, which is fine. I was trying to switch away from watching TV to reading because that's something better to do before bed, and meditating before going to bed is great too. But I do love to read, and I hate that I don't read as much as I once did. And I'm in a phase where my kids are a little bit older. And so while I don't think people with newborns really need to be prioritizing reading, if they really should prioritize sleep and all the other things. But I'm in a phase where I could be prioritizing reading. So I'm going to commit to bringing that back, but maybe in a different way in 2022. And then the last habit that I was hoping to break, I guess, break or start, maybe break would be the best way to describe it, would be to get away from social media on Sundays. And this was one I would sometimes forget. So if I remembered, I was good about it. But sometimes I would forget until I don't know, some point during the day, randomly during the day, I would think, oh my gosh, it's Sunday. I don't want to be on social media. So this was the one I would say I was probably least focused on because I remembered it the least. So I do want to still work on this one as well. And I'll tell you how I'm going to address that going forward. So let's talk about where this leaves me as I enter 2022. I did okay with some of these, but I wouldn't say I crushed them like I did with some of my 2020 habits. So I'm going to try to build on some of the newish habits that I have been able to create and stick with. And I'm going to be more specific about how I will accomplish or stick with each one of them. So for the first quarter of 2022, I'm actually just going to focus on my morning and evening rituals because I think I can loop most of these into those two areas, and that's going to make this easier. So, my morning ritual that I'm going to focus on moving here into this first quarter is going to be intentionally waking up at 6 a.m. So my girls get up generally around 6:30, sometimes a little later, but that's typically when I can expect to see them is around 6:30. So I'm going to focus on getting up by 6 a.m., which is totally doable and fine because I go to bed generally by 10 a.m. And when I get up, my ritual is going to be to make my bed. And then I will work out and then I will stretch, two of those habits that have stuck with me. And then I'm going to finish my morning ritual with a 5-minute meditation. So, just like I tacked on stretching, so anytime I work out, I now stretch. It's built in to my workout. I'm now just going to tack on another 5 minutes for meditation. So, that's how I'm going to try to loop that in. And then my evening ritual, I'm going to try to incorporate the laundry into a ritual. So, what I'm going to try to do is after I tuck the kids in, as I walk back from their room to the stairs, the laundry room is right there. So I'm going to tuck the kids in and then put in the laundry, which is what I was kind of doing, but I would often forget. So what I'm going to do is put a sticky note on the wall. So when I walk down that hall, there'll be a note there that's going to remind me to put that laundry in. Once the habit really gets stuck, I won't need that sticky note, but that's what I'm going to do getting started. And then after I do that, I'm going to get into my comfy clothes. Then I'll come downstairs and finish up any cleanup that needs to be done. And then I'm going to start reading downstairs. So usually I'll plop on the couch and might look at my phone, might chat with my husband, might do a little work. But now I think I'm going to plop on the couch and read for 15 to 30 minutes before I go to bed. Then when I go to bed, I'll do my meditation and fall asleep because I do think the meditation really helps with my sleep. So I'm going to put the reading before actually getting into bed. The other thing that happens when I get in bed and read is I fall asleep after about 2 pages, which is fine, but I'm not reading all that much. So that's what I'm going to do as part of my focus for the first quarter of 2022. And then I don't want to give up on my no social media on Sunday. Because of the work I do, I use social media a lot, and then I do feel like it's become this weird habit where even on Sundays where I really don't work, I'm still looking at social media because it's kind of a habit. And so I want to take a little break from it and really focus on being present with my family for a family day, and it won't be consumed with laundry because I will be doing laundry every day during the week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to print a cute card. I'm going to use canva.com and make a cute card that I'm going to tape on my bathroom mirror that reminds me no social media on Sunday so that Sunday morning, hopefully I will see it and it will remind me. My one concern is sometimes when something's stuck there for so long, I stop seeing it. But that's what I'm going to try for quarter one. this is kind of the beauty of looking at things quarterly is I can revisit it at the end of the first quarter if it's not working and come up with another plan. So that's a little bit about how I have shifted from making New Year's resolutions to really having quarterly habits or quarterly goals that I'm focused on. For me, they're habits. I know some people focus on quarterly goals. I'm focused on quarterly habits, and I will revisit them again in 3 months and see if they have stuck and if it's one I can kind of let go and think about adding something new, or if I need to tweak my approach or change how I'm trying to remember accomplishing these, because I didn't fully lock them down in 2021, but I made progress and I want to really turn them into true habits. So if you're looking for a new way to approach New Year's resolutions, maybe you can join me in this approach. All right. I hope that you found this interesting, entertaining. Maybe it makes you think about some things as you go into this new year. Cheers to a new year. I hope it is full of joy and laughter with your family and that everyone stays nice and healthy. And I hope you will continue to join me here on this podcast every week. All right. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to How Long Till Bedtime. To learn how we can work together to improve your child's sleep, please visit sleepandwellnesscoach.com.